Wow, this is weird. This is the first time I've used a fisheye lens in over a year, I think. We can only really use this lens outside when it's this kind of weather because the aperture's broke and it's stuck on the lowest setting. Or is it highest? I can't remember. I want to try the fisheye out again and see if you guys like it. I remember when I started using it and it was set in this high aperture, people were saying they didn't like the quality, but I'm just gonna try use it again because personally I think videos look amazing when they're on the fisheye. We can get sick angles as well with this fisheye because it's so big. Right, today's video we're going to teach you how to flare. I don't think I've ever done this video. I don't know why. I always get asked how to do this video, how to flare. Here at Exton Skate Park, we've got the big quarter. I think it's about around 6 foot. Flares are weird because they are actually harder on like, turn around, look at that long quarter. That quarter is probably like 5 foot and it's quite hard to flare. So if I was learning flares, I'd set them on a bigger quarter just because flares are easier if you go faster, higher and slower. Slower in the air. They're really complicated when you do them small because when you do them small you've got to pull that hard, your body position on your bike just goes all weird and you can end up in a really weird like twisted up position on your bike and it means the flare doesn't come around properly. If you go higher and faster at a flare, it just gives you more time in the air to bring the flare in and get it back into the quarter and make it look nice. I did this when I first learnt flares. The main thing I'm going to show you on now. When I learnt flares, we'll go to the 5 foot. I learnt flares on a half pipe, probably about the size of that 1/4 there. And when I first did them, I didn't do this mistake, but as I got like more comfortable with them, this makes them a lot easier. But the only problem is with doing them like this, it basically stops you from getting high and you break your back wheel like that. That may have looked really clean, and it was really clean to be quite honest. It wasn't that sketchy, it felt quite good. Alley-oop. But yeah, it was alley-oop. So basically, flares feel really easy if you alley-oop them. If you go off the quarter and pull back on yourself, that motion of a flare comes around so nice. But the thing was, I kept doing them, and I couldn't get high or couldn't do them in certain quarters because of the way the quarter was. They don't look as good. So my main advice for this is basically advice if you can flare and you've learnt them, don't do them alley-oop. Make sure when you come out the quarter, you travel across that quarter. And as you're going up, treat it like a normal basically a flare you want to treat as a backflip. And then when you're at your peak, you want to tuck in, turn, and just look over your shoulder. You don't want to use your shoulder to pull, you want to look over it and turn back into the quarter. It's a little tip for if you already can flare and you're just watching this video because you don't like the way they look or you want to improve on them. So don't do the alley-oop stuff because it looks sick. If you want to do an alley-oop flare though, just do alley-oop flares. But if you want to do like a nice looking flare and have them consistent, make sure you learn them across the quarter, not back on yourself. Tip number 1 to learn how to flare. You want to be able, preferably, you want to be able to backflip. Mainly because when you can backflip, a flare is so much easier because it makes more sense in your head. Let's go over to the quarter. This video is going to be hilarious because if anybody from like out of the northern quarters watches it, they're going to hear me say flare. They're just going to get to
flare.
Flare. Alright guys, getting there to flare today. Fuck that accent, bro. It's all about the northern gang. Come on. Back to the flares. Right, so when we're coming up the quarter, you want to start going up the quarter. Obviously, you just want to do your normal pump. If you don't know how to air, as you're hitting the bottom of the quarter, about here, yeah, you should already be pumping up the quarter when you're in this position. So as soon as you're here, you want to start like pushing your knees and legs through your bike, just so then when you come out the quarter, you've got pop. Pull off for a flare, the main thing that people do, which is wrong, they pull off for like the motion, the turn, instantly. So they hit the top of the coping, they do a backflip and try to turn as fast as they can. And this is why you see some people and they have flares where they look like, they just look weird, if you know what I mean. They don't look like a normal flare. They look more like a dip 5. As you're coming up the quarter, when you do a normal air, you go off your front wheel, keep going. When your back wheel comes out, that's when you start turning. It's exactly the same on a flare. You want to come up the quarter. As your front wheel's leaving, don't turn. If you turn off your front wheel and pull backwards on a flare, you're gonna have the weirdest looking flares ever. They're gonna be all sideways. Yeah, you're gonna land flat. They're gonna be all sideways looking. They're not gonna look like a backflip air. My main advice is just go off the top of the coping, pull back, and keep going backwards until you've reached a full backflip. Like, basically, you want to do the flare about halfway through a backflip or like 3/4 of the way through doing a backflip. Going straight, don't turn until you've hit the peak of the air. When you hit your peak of the air, that's when you want to tuck in and turn. Right, so as you can see in that flare, I went quite fast, I went quite high, and I pulled off the coping and kept myself doing a backflip, not turning. So the turning aspect will make you do a dip 5, and dip 5s look cool, but if you want to learn flares, you want to be able to do the backflip off the coping. So we're coming towards the end of this how-to. I hope it's helping you out, and I hope like it's giving you more confidence how to learn them. If you do send flares and you land them because of this video, make sure you tag me on Instagram and I'll share the post. So we're going to go over the main tips on how to get a flare around if you want to try them. As I said, main number one tip not to do is pull off the coping as soon as you hit it and pull like over your shoulder and drop it like you're just going to do the weird spin 540 backflip, and it's just not going to look good. So you're coming up the quarter, make sure you're pumping. Pump is the main thing, no pull, pump. Make sure you're pumping as soon as you've hit that coping with your front wheel. Carry on going straight like a pencil and then do a backflip. No pulling around your shoulder, no turning, backflip first. You are annoying. I swear every YouTube video I've ever made has got someone in the background.
Some kid,
doing, yeah.
Some noisy kid normally, isn't it?
Some noisy kid. It's either an aeroplane, a noisy kid, or someone doing gardening at the side of a car park. Like, what are you doing? Why is he
in a public place?
Why is he doing? I don't get it.
It's too far away.
Why is man doing gardening at the side of the skate park? Like, hasn't he got his own garden to be trimming? Anyway, back to flares. So, as you're coming up the coping, make sure you're pumping, not pulling. When you've hit the coping and you're coming out of the coping, make sure you're doing a backflip, not turning over your shoulder. More backflip than pulling. Not pulling. More backflip than dropping your shoulder to get a spin. As you're reaching the peak of the backflip in the air, that's when you want to start turning, and that's when you want to start looking with your head, and you want to basically like, I'd say as you're looking, as you've reached the peak of the backflip in mid-air, you want to be looking under your armpit, like just tuck it in, looking under your armpit and pulling the bike into like a ball motion, so you like this on your bike. Cool. And a police car. Small. I see a lot of people when they learn flares, like they pull so hard, they keep their arms straight and they do like this weird pencil fish head motion, but that's like the worst thing you can do. Like this weird pencil
Me when I hear.
Yeah. I suggest keeping yourself tucked in on your bike and using your head. It's all in your head. Backflip, then turn with your head, not your shoulder. If you're landing flat, you're pulling too hard off the coping, which means that when you're coming out to do the backflip, you're not using your pump, you're pulling with your arms. Don't use your arms to pull. Obviously you've got to use a bit of your arms to pull, but don't drag your bike away from the coping. If you're over rotating, you're spinning off your shoulder way too hard. If you're under rotating, you're probably doing too much of a backflip and not turning in mid-air. It's all just one of these games where you've just got to keep doing them in practice. That is so annoying, Jerry, bro. Right, anyway guys, I hope this helped you with your flares. I hope you go to the skate park, learn flares. Obviously, if you've got a foam pit, send it to foam pit. I didn't. I just sent them to wood and landed at third go. So
warehouse?
Yeah, landed at warehouse, third go. So you can pretty much learn them anywhere. They're not actually that scary and they're not actually that hard to land. Once you've got a flare, they're like the main park trick. Like if you can flare, you're a park rider. It's so easy. Most street riders I know who are pro can flare. Like they're just so easy. It's just all about getting your head around it. Make sure you follow them tips, like not pulling too hard off the coping. Fully fed up now, right? Jerry and his head trimmer can go do one. Thank you for watching this video. Subscribe if you're new. Any more how-tos you want to see down below, let me know. If you've got your own tips on how to flare and you can flare already and you want to leave it for the people watching this video, go down below, leave some comments, it might help someone out. If I've missed anything, you can let me know as well. Thank you for watching. See you next video. Give me the ball. Give me the ball. Dog does not want to play fetch. So close. Slacking. Alright guys, we're at Moore Park Skate Park today. We're going to get a few clips on the BMX. Thank you to everyone who's subscribed, new subscribers out there. It's going off. I'm in loads of views at the moment, so it's good, it's good. Coming up here. Alright, I want to try 2 nollie bars. I'm like not that good at nollie bars, so I want to try one at this weird bank, and then one at the big bank as well.
New frame, baby lad.
Ah, is that a mafia?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Jeez.
Oh, it's overtaken again.